I'm Julia, and today I will be talking to you about a road trip I just went on to West Texas. So last minute I decided to go on a road trip to West Texas by myself, despite what everyone had to say, my mom, my friends, who were super worried about me. I survived. I am fine. It's possible to go by yourself as a woman, alone. Let's just put that out there, okay? Also, I think it's complete BS that women even have to worry about traveling by themselves and have to worry about being attacked. Like, it's, what is it, the 21st century? Let's just move beyond that. It's such a ridiculous, horrible thing. I mean, obviously, yes, you need to be aware of your surroundings at all the time, no matter if you're a man or a woman, so like, you don't get your things stolen. But, you know, it's being a young woman, yes, we still have to worry about it. Alright, stop ranting. This trip is good for me because I proved to myself that I can actually go somewhere by myself and have a good time and not get attacked. So, yes. So I didn't go anywhere for this winter break, my last winter break in college. And of course, if you look on Instagram, you get FOMO. So I felt like I needed to do something the last week of break. And my parents had just gone to West Texas and showed me some pictures, and I was thinking that would be like a good place to go, like why not? So I decided to take a 3-day trip by myself, and I will tell you about that. What I liked, what I didn't like. Let's move on. So the first day I left at 9 a.m. from about Austin and drove 7 hours to Alpine. And I don't mind driving, so that was fine, but the 2 hours left of that drive were exhausting. And for that night, that was a Tuesday, I booked a star party viewing at mcdonald observatory. I can't say observatory. There we go. And basically that is, so mcdonald observatory is like a, you know what, let's just look up the definition. mcdonald observatory. So mcdonald observatory is a astronomical observatory located near the unincorporated whatever. It's in West Texas. So the star party is that they teach you about stars and constellations. I finally know where the North Star is. No, it is not the brightest star in the sky. Yes. And so I looked through about 8 telescopes at different things like Orion's Nebula, the Moon, and Uranus. Which no, it's not Uranus, it's Uranus. Which I didn't know either. So that was nice. It was super cold. Bring a blanket. But I think it's definitely something that I recommend. And it's fine going by yourself because 1, it's dark. 2, no one really knows. No one knows who you are. 3, people are just minding their own business. Okay? So the next day I drove to Big Bend and I hiked the Lost Mine Trail. And people were so nice on this trail, especially older people. I don't know what it is about saying hi to people your age that's more intimidating, but older people are always nicer. We need to work on that. And it was about a 3.5 hour hike, 3-hour hike by myself. If I was with someone else, it would be a different story. And it wasn't that hard. It was really pretty too. And yeah, so I just had my what are they called? AirPods in. Am I a Gen Z? I don't know. So I just had my AirPods in, listened to music and podcast, and it was really nice. You know, this purpose of this trip was to kind of, well, 1, get out of my house and experience something new, but 2, like, clear my mind of things and figure some stuff out. And no, this trip did not help that at all. You think hiking and being in the outdoors would help? It didn't. I think I distracted myself from that by listening to music. And actually, at the end of this trip, I was sick of music, which I didn't think would ever be possible. After that, I was kind of dead tired, but I had 3 hours of driving left because I decided to go on this road by the Rio Grande called the River Road, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was probably my favorite part, even though it consisted of driving for 2 hours. But anyways, I was stopping every moment I could. Almost got in a wreck one time because there are hills and you can't see over the hill. But I'm alive. I'm okay. And so my final day, day 3, very short road trip. So that morning I went to Marfa and I ate at this place called, I'll put a picture. Right away I went to Prada Marfa, which is like an iconic Prada building in the middle of nowhere, and I have some background information about it. So creators put that there in 2005 and stocked it with real Prada bags and shoes provided by Mrs. Prada herself. On the night the exhibit was installed, thieves broke in and stole all the goodies. So the artists were forced to go back and restock everything. And so then they put a security system in. Like, why wouldn't they do that in the first place? But after that little incident, they actually restocked the store. But they left out the bottom of the purses and only put left shoes in the store. In 2014, it was vandalized again, and this dude painted the sides of the building blue and put like Tom's posters in front, and they put a little manifesto saying, "Tom's Marfa will bring greater inspiration to consumer Americans to give all they have to developing nations that suffer disease, starvation, and corruption. So, as long as you buy Tom's shoes and endorse Jesus Christ as your savior, welcoming the white hymn into your heart, so help you God, otherwise you're damned to hell. Welcome to your apocalypse." And it's like a question mark, which I don't get. So I thought that was really fucking weird. So the artist had to go back and fix it again. They just can't catch a break. So I thought that was really interesting history to Prada Marfa. And I know it's just a building. Literally, it's just a building in the middle of nowhere. It's actually in Ballantyne and not Marfa. It's like 20-30 minutes outside of Marfa. But for some reason, it just made me so happy to see it because I've been seeing pictures of it for forever. And yeah, there was a guy there with me, or no, there was a guy who pulled up after me and we took each other's pictures. So shout out to that guy, he had good style. And then after that I was pretty ready to make my way back home, but I had to drive back through Marfa. And the thing about Marfa is that their shops and stuff are pretty much only open during the weekends. So they sleep during the week and are open during the weekends. And I was there on a Thursday, and I looked up this shop online called Wrong, and it looks so cute in pictures. But I was there at 1 o'clock on a Thursday, they still weren't open. So that was a little disappointing. But I read that one of the things you could do is go up to the courthouse, which is like really pretty. At night they shine lights on the top, and it's like art itself. But I read that you can go up top inside the courthouse, and up top is a very pretty, just like white room with a bunch of windows. And there was like 3 like hipsters in there when I went up, and it was kind of awkward. They were taking pictures and then they left, and I was like, I'm gonna have a little photo shoot of my own. That's what you have to do when you're on your own on a road trip. Self-timers, selfies, strangers. That's my new motto. Okay, one thing I do not like about going that far west and south from, is it south? I think it's like southwest for me, is that gas prices are so expensive. Like when I left home it was like $2.09, and then when I got there it was just like $2.90. So that was a little outrageous. They could do without that. And then I actually, that morning when I was having breakfast in this little coffee shop, I read that prices down there are too high and opportunities too low, so people are like forced to move away. But I like to go and just view the art, so I'm a viewer, not a buyer. Maybe one day when I have some little extra cash to spend, I'll buy some art, but not when I'm 22 in college. That wraps up my solo video. I think I put everything in the video, but if you have any questions about like where I stayed, just have questions about West Texas or any of the things I did, leave them below. I would love to answer them. And if you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I hope to make more videos like this in the future. I really enjoy traveling and just giving tips and my experience out there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. No, I already said that. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Please tell me I recorded.